And welcome back to Retirement Coffee Talk with Sharice Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, our website is zinniawealth.com, ZINNIA wealth.com. A lot of times on this show, we hear from Warren Buffett and we hear from big names in the financial world. And that's all good and fine. But I'm not going to give you that today. I'm going to give you advice from my people in a golf foursome. How about that? So if you go out and golf on a Monday, there is a pretty good chance that you're going to run into some people who are either retired now or about to retire. And that's what I had. Last week, I golfed on a Monday. I took a day off, and I golfed on a Monday, and I golfed with a bunch of guys like that. And I heard some great stories. And one of them was a guy who worked for Major League Baseball for a couple of years. It wasn't his main job his whole career, but he worked there long enough to get a pension. And his first pension check came in. And he said it wasn't going to be a real big deal. And he said, I got it, and that was nice. And then the second check came, and then the third check came, and then the fourth check came, and he looked at me and goes, I kind of like this, not working and getting a check. I can get used to this. I like this. And then the other guy was telling me about his retirement planning, and he said, I found out that me and the wife are going to get $6,000 a month in Social Security. And I was so happy about that because I could see that I don't have to take a lot more out of my other investments in order to make retirement work. And suddenly, it became real. I can actually do this. And I smiled and I said, seeing is believing, isn't it? He goes, yeah. And I thought, Sharice, that's what we do every week here. We encourage people to come in and do the math, as you say all the time, and see it on paper. And seeing is believing, isn't it? I imagine you see that all the time.
I do. And I have got to I'm so glad you brought that up, Randy, because it happens all the time. When people start to see it on paper, they see the plan being built out. They see how we can change things very quickly if somebody passes away, et cetera. But it gives them more confidence. And so seeing is believing. But then when it starts to happen, they're just like, oh, wow, this is actually really, really happening now. But somebody who just came into my office, I'm going to tell you, good old boy, hardworking, saved a lot, worked 7 days a week. And I looked at him, I said, why? Why are you working 7 days a week? And he's like, I don't know. And I think I'm done. And he said his CPA, who does financial planning, but he says very minimal amounts, told him, hey, before you can retire, literally, they just had this conversation, you need $2 million saved. And you really got to scrounge up, sell your business, do all this stuff to get to that $2 million. He came to me because he said, I only have 1.1 million, Sharice. Do I really have to work? I mean, he's in his early 60s. And he says, do I really have to do this? I'm out of my gustos. I can't do this anymore. Yeah. A lot has happened in my life. So we, right then and there, this was a first appointment. I didn't even make him wait for a second appointment to get that income plan because I was like, I wanted him to leave knowing when he was back out there in the sun and working, I wanted him to know that he has a plan already written for him. So we did that plan. And on the $1.1 million, he had plenty of money to retire, and his money in 30 years on a very pessimistic return and a high inflation was still over, I think it was $1.5 million. 30 years later, he went, so I can retire now. He was so happy because he thought he had to work another 10 years or sell all of his stuff right now, which I don't think you can really sell a whole lot of it. But people out there will tell you, you've got to save $2 million to retire. Go ahead and invest. And that CPA also said, go ahead and invest all your money with me now. We'll get started, but you got to do this, this, and the other. What kind of plan is that? What kind of person does that? I am so upset that is the financial services industry for a lot of people out there. And for those who are listening that says, oh my gosh, I think I met that guy, or you're in the same boat, do not let somebody tell you you cannot retire unless they show you a plan on paper and it is so detailed and that you can understand it. Do not believe it. Come in and see us because we're helping people retire all the time, every day, all of our advisors, based on what you have saved. Now, one in every 40 people, I might say, okay, you do have to work another year or two, but I'm not going to make you work 10 years. Let's make this plan work for your pocketbook. And then when we start to put this plan in, we get tears, we get flowers. I always got some chocolates from somebody we retired a few months ago because they're just like, What they love about us is that we're balanced. We do a bunch of things. And I think that's all people want. I want you to tell me what you want. Then I'm going to put a plan together and tell you, okay, you can have those, but we got to sprinkle a few other things in here because I want to make sure that we're not running out of money in 20 years.
There are so many of those stories out there, and you see them all the time. You need $1.8 million to retire and all of that business. And then here's this guy who somebody tells him he's supposed to have $2 million. That means he has to save another $900,000 in the last, 8-9 years here, work till he's 70. Well, these are those tragic stories that you see somebody who's just killing themselves to try to make that money, and then they have a heart attack on the way, and they could have retired, and they did damage to their life, their health, all these different things. Let's not let that happen to you. Give us a call. Let's sit down, find out if you can retire. And many times, the answer is good news. 833-368-3680. 833-368-3680, or use our website, ZinniaWealth.com, ZINNIA Wealth.com. Click on the gold box that says Complimentary Retirement Consultation. We'll do the math on your retirement and find out when you can retire, and maybe it's sooner than what you thought. Again, 833-368-3680.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Coffee Talk podcast. If you have questions or would like to begin the process of building a tailored retirement plan, call Zinnia Wealth at 803-368-3680 or find us online at ZinniaWealth.com.
Sharice Rivers is an investment advisor representative of Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Sharice Rivers is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Sharice Rivers, NPN Insurance License Number 8718011.